I'm Action.
I'm Set.
And I'm Roll.
And here is our March update. Hard to believe it's already March of 2018.
Seems like only yesterday was the start of a new year.
I can tell you right now, the creative minds behind Action Set Go have got some pretty cool things that we're already starting to look at going to this upcoming year.
We don't want to give anything away just yet.
But I will tell you that something is coming up within the next week or two. So for right now, hopefully you've enjoyed all of our director's cut videos, our memories videos. They pretty much came to an end, and it was kind of good because January and February were cold, except for that one day in January. Action and myself were able to go out and Planespot and Railfan. But here is another best of video because update isn't an update without a best of, and we figured you might as well want to hear some of our favorites. So this month's theme is our top 5 favorite planes, and we'll start off with Roll.
Okay, so starting off with number 5 for my favorite planes that I seen, it was the B-29. I got to see the B-29 plane that dropped the bomb that ended World War II.
My number 4 is the B-24.
Coming at number 3 is the Wright Flyer. The Wright Flyer was the first airplane that was ever created. I seen a replica both at the Air Force Museum and the Museum of Science and Industry, and I thought it was just really amazing to see a replica of the first ever airplane. Coming on number 2 was the Columbine 3. This was actually President Eisenhower's personal plane. It was his plane that he used from 1954 to when he left office. I just really liked the design, and it was super cool. My favorite airplane, Mitsubishi A6M0. This was one of the deadliest, if not the deadliest, aircrafts in the Pacific War. That was my top 5 favorite airplanes, and now I'm going to pass it off to Set.
All right, now it's time to go off with my top 5 list. Starting at number 5 would have to be the B-24, and coming in at number 4 would have to be the B-29. Now, like Roll, when we all went together to the National Air Force Museum, we got to see the plane Boxcar that ended World War II. It dropped the hydrogen bomb on Nagasaki. Number 3 would have to be a B-17. Again, I've seen so many B-17s in war movies. To me, I always thought the B-17 was one of the coolest planes that flew in World War II. I would love to see one fly one of these days. Coming in at number 2 would have to be the Boeing 767. I got to see a 767 at the Buffalo Airport this past November when Action and myself went up and caught at that time, which was supposed to be the last plane spotting video for 2017. And at number 1, it should come in as no shock, but my favorite plane is the Boeing 747, which unfortunately, other than KLM and other airlines, which names escapes me at the moment, has been mostly retired. 747 was something with a few of these other planes I had seen in movies growing up, particularly with the 747. I saw it in Air Force One and in both Airport 1975 and Airport 77. I always thought that they were great movies, and I always wanted to see a 747 up close because I remember hearing how big they were. I could not get over just how giant the aircraft was actually seeing it in person. I know that they were saying that this year they were going to retire them, and one of the biggest bummers when we were in the Midwest was that we didn't get to plane spot at O'Hare to get to see one of these things take off. So I was hoping that I still had a chance to see one. And the second chance this year, which I didn't even find out about till I was in Michigan, not that I would have skipped the chance because I wanted to chase the Paramarquette 1225 that day, was when the 747 was in Buffalo last Saturday in October when I was chasing the Paramarquette 1225 during the Kerwood Highlander excursion. And then, of course, the last chance came thanks to an Instagram follower. I just happened to see that there was going to be a 747 at the Buffalo airport, made my way up there, and that's how I got that footage, which was the last video from 2017. That's my top 5 favorite list. Now we're going on to Actions.
Okay, start off my top 5. My number 5 is one we've seen numerous times over the past couple of years, the MD-88. Like I said, we've seen these things a few times, and they're just a cool plane. It's the best thing about these things is they are just loud. You hear one of these things take off, your ears bleed. My number 4 was the Delta 767 that Set and myself saw up at Buffalo Airport. My number 3 was actually the first 747 I really ever saw, and it was a British Airways 747 that was landing at O'Hare. We were on our way out home from Chicago, and I just happened to see this large plane coming into landing at O'Hare. And as it got closer, I realized it was a 747, so I snapped a couple pictures of it. My number 2 is one that made sets and rolls list, and that's also the B-29 boxcar. I'm not gonna add anything more to what they said. My number 1, however, was the XB-70 Valkyrie we saw at the National Air Force Museum. This was intended to be a high-altitude supersonic nuclear bomber developed during the Cold War, and there was only 2 prototypes ever made. One of them actually crashed in 1956, I believe, in the Mojave Desert during a publicity flight. And the one stored at the National Air Force Museum currently is the only prototype in existence. And just seeing it, it looks absolutely impressive. It looks fast, it looks loud, it almost looks like a Concorde. So anyway, that's my top 5.
So anyhow, all I have to say is stay tuned over the next few weeks. I know you're probably going to enjoy some of the newer footage we're getting. Anyhow,
I'm Action.
I'm Set.
And I'm Roll.